make this quick because I feel like a lot happened today. It's day 49. It was a long one. I did combine a bit more than 2 days into one though. So yeah, from Woodhouse Activity Centre to here, which is Forest Gate Cottage. It ended up being a 39.9k day, and my body definitely knew it. It pretty much played up all day. Like my right like hip flexor groin area was so sore, and my left knee was like starting to go on me as well, so that was playing up a fair bit. I sort of had to like nurse that a bit. But yeah, it was almost as if my body knew that I actually had a spa bath to get to. First one along the trail. I set my alarm for 6:30 and got up. I wanted to try and get a fairly early start anyway, knowing that it was going to be a big day. So yeah, had a coffee, had some breakfast, and hit the trail. And I reckon I was on the trail by about 7:30, I think. I was walking out of there and I was trying to keep my shoes and socks dry, so I was walking like an idiot out of there, trying to keep them dry, but it kind of worked, kind of didn't. Yeah, and then I crossed a road and the trail merged with the Pioneer Women's Trail, which I'd heard of before. Not too familiar with the story of it though. That was nice through there. It was a bit muddy in sections though, so yeah, just kind of navigating the trail and dodging the mud. I then entered Mount George Conservation Park. That was really cool through there, really nice trail, and yeah, it was really pretty. Sort of following this creek too, and I crossed a wider section of it over a bridge, and yeah, it was just really nice. That was a nice spot through there. Not sure if it was still a part of it or not, but I ended up walking under the highway, I think it was. I passed this cute little setup where people had built little like doors. It was like meant to be like a little fairy village or something. It was pretty cute, and it was just along the side of the trail there. Obviously part of someone's yard, I guess, but yeah, so that was kind of funny. Walked past this huge like water catchment. The creek water, I guess, flowed down into this like catchment section, and then I ended up walking under, I think that was the railway lines that I was walking under there, and the water sort of flowed next to me, but yeah, it just seemed like a lot of water. And then I came into Bridgewater, I reckon it was, and that just seemed like a really pretty place. I think I'd sort of be keen to go back there in the car and have a bit more of a suss. It was a nice park area, and I walked straight past the back of a beautiful looking pub. So out the back was like the beer garden area, but it was no like ugly fence or anything. It was just straight onto like where the creek water ran through. So yeah, it was so nice. I'd like to sit out there and have a drink right by the creek. Yeah, I was sort of walking through a couple of streets there, and in suburbia, past all these fancy looking houses and very steep driveways. It was quite a hilly area. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to live in those hilly streets, but yeah, it was nice, looked nice anyway. And then eventually got put onto my own little trail that I guess kind of like weaved between like backyards and things. But yeah, that little trail went on for a little while, and then I came back out onto dirt roads, and while I was walking up one, I heard this dog barking, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever. And then it, like, this little brown fluffy thing, barking its head off, comes running out of this yard, crosses the dirt road towards me. So I'm just like still walking along, looking at it, didn't do anything differently, and it just came up right by me barking, and then it actually started trying to like bite my leg. So I'm walking along, and like every time it went to bite me, I was kind of like moving my leg out of the way. I was trying to like have a go at my calf, and I'm like, oh hey, like stop that, it's enough. And then eventually, like after a little while, I heard the owner call it, some woman, and it stopped and ran back. And I felt like, so I'm still walking along and I'm like looking in, and if I'd actually seen her properly, I couldn't quite see anyone, but if I'd seen her properly, I would have like yelled out to her and said, this is a public road, this is a public walking trail as well. You're lucky I don't have your dog put down for trying to bite me. Eventually I crossed into Mylor Conservation Park. So yeah, again, that was nice walking through there as well. There's so many areas up this way to go walking. Like, people from Adelaide are really spoilt for choice. Like, just all of these little areas, they're all really nice walking as well. And then I passed through, I guess it was like the little town of Mylor. I don't know, it was like kind of like a main street, I guess. And there's a general store along there that I went into. I didn't really need anything, I just thought I'd pop in and see what they had. I ended up buying a can of sparkling juice, so I just felt like something nice and different to drink. Yeah, more bitumen road walking, and then I actually got turned into someone's property over a stile. Just walking along the fence in there. That was really good. It was just grass, no rocks to deal with. So yeah, and it was sort of downhill a bit, so felt like I kind of flew down there, and then walked along, like I had a right turn, walked along the other fence, got a bit boggy, so I had to kind of come around a bit out from the fence and dodge some mud and stuff. But as I was getting closer to like the next corner, the owner was there. Yeah, I stopped and said hi to him, and we're talking a bit about the trail and the weather, and then yeah, actually like thanked him for letting us walk through his property, and I said it's actually like nice walking. I said some properties, I said they'll have like all their rocks pushed up to the fence line and still expect us walkers to walk along the fence line over all the rocks and stuff like that. So it's just not fun walking, but yeah, he actually looked after that property and seemed to look after us. There were actually like boardwalks built. He did mention the section where it gets a bit boggy, so It's yeah, obviously known to just be a wet, boggy property down below there. So there were actually a few boardwalk sections. Yeah, I think he appreciated the thanks. I wish more property owners were like that nice and understanding. I spotted a fox through there. It didn't realise I was there for a little while, but as soon as it heard me, it took off. Like, they're so quick. They don't hang around at all. After that, I got put back into another forest reserve, but I came to a reroute, and then I was following a couple of trail markers, but then I got to like the end of them. So yeah, when I followed this, so it pretty much took me like to the outskirts, following around the outside, and then when I got to like the bottom corner, there was the gate to sort of come in, which I could see, but there were all signs across that saying like stop, danger, felling, or whatever they call it, happening. And there was no more arrow, like there was no arrow anywhere. So I'm like, so I probably shouldn't be in this section right now, or what? So I looked up on the map and thought, if I'll just jump out then. So I climbed over like the canvas danger sign, got onto the dirt road, and then I just walked along that, which went, you know, like parallel with the forest. The trail on FarOut still, you know, was still showing like going through the forest, but obviously I felt like I couldn't do that. So yeah, looking at the map, I just knew that just a couple of right-hand turns on these dirt roads should eventually match me up with the trail on the other side of the forest. So yeah, did that. So I was walking along those dirt roads for a while, passed heaps of cows, so that made the walk a bit less boring, so it gave me something to watch as I was walking by. And yeah, eventually, like where I sort of came up to where I thought like I'd meet the trail, I actually came in closer to Rocky Creek campground, so it kind of worked out well. So because otherwise, like that campground has like a spur trail off the Heysen. So yeah, I met in to there. I went up to the hut, and yeah, I just sat down and had some lunch. I figured like technically I've already paid for a campsite for there, so I can use the toilet and everything there. So I'd already gone, I think it was pretty far to that point. That was sort of a bit of a later lunch. I think I'd already done, I think it was, I don't know, 26 or something Ks, 22, 20, something like that, I don't know. But yeah, it felt like I'd already been walking for a while, and then I thought, okay, so now I've got, I think it was another 15 point something to Chukaloo, whatever it's called, campground, and then another couple of Ks after that to the cottage. So I was like, alright, let's do this. Took some more Panadol because, like I said, my body was just playing up like everywhere and just being a little bitch. So from the hut there, I just watched FarOut and followed the spur trail out of there. Actually came out to some Heysen markers, and then I was back on the trail again. And then yeah, it was a bit more forest reserve and dirt roads, and it just seemed to go on forever and ever and ever. I kept thinking to myself, oh my god, like I've been walking for days, like where is this Chukaloo campground? Because I knew that once I spotted that, then I was like pretty much there, you know, a couple of more Ks and then I was home for the night, the next 2 nights. And yeah, eventually came to it, and I thought, because I planned a rest because my body was hurting quite a lot, I thought I'll rest, I'll have another snack, kind of recharge a bit before doing the last couple of Ks and getting into the cottage. So I was kind of, yeah, hanging out for that campground. After my rest and heading out, there was just a pretty forest section, walking through the trees, and yeah, I was trying to just take it a bit easy, but not overly slow. I still wanted the day to end, so yeah, and eventually came out of there and came to the turn, and the cottage is just like you can see it from the dirt road where you come out. So yeah, turned down there and thought, I made it finally. Like, oh, it's a long-ass day. They checked me in and they were so nice. It was Alan and Sarah. They were asking me about, like, it's their shopping day tomorrow. Did I want to go with them? Like, is there anything I needed? Any supplies? Yeah, just like so accommodating, so nice. And that's when I teed up with them to do like a half-day walk tomorrow from here to Mount Magnificent tomorrow, and then that means that the next day I'll get dropped off at the road, Mount Magnificent Road, and do from there to Mount Compass. So yeah, that's the plan. I've got a spa bath here finally. Oh my god. So yeah, that was day 49. A big one, a long one. There were like no crazy steep sections or anything. It was pretty good, like elevation wise. That's why I thought I could probably like do it reasonably easy. And I would have if I didn't have these couple of new issues with my body come up, but yeah, hopefully that'll sort itself out soon. But yeah, 39.9 Ks, day 49, done. So yeah, stay tuned for my short day pack day tomorrow. Yeah. See ya.